sorry about that little screw up there on the start. You might not have noticed it, but I ended up starting this with the wrong, I don't know, you know how I put it out there ahead of time? Well, I thought I had clicked on that, but apparently not. Apparently or I had it one time, I know, but apparently it cleared out, and anyway, we're here now. That's all I got to say. Hope you're having a good day, because at the moment I'm beginning to wonder about mine. Anyway, this is vlog number 639, and it is Tuesday the 28th of January. You can just about kiss January goodbye. Microphone! Dadgummit, now I am really considered, maybe my day's not going as well as I thought it was. I thought I was having a pretty good day up until the time we started this vlog. Okay. Hopefully you can hear me now. Like I said, I started the wrong video. I had clicked on the video I had put out there for you all to connect to, but somehow or another that got cleared out, and when I started it, you weren't there. So I had to restart it again. Oh, it's just not easy being me. Have you ever heard that before? Did you know that Matt Carriker is quitting YouTube and he's selling his demolition ranch? And you probably don't even know who Matt Carriker is, but Matt Carriker, he's one of my favorite YouTube channels. He has several channels. His main two channels are Demolition Ranch and Off the Ranch, I guess. And he started YouTubing, I don't know, back in the early days of YouTube, before you could make any money on it. And he's grown his channels. He's got like 3 different channels, and all of them are well over 1 million subscribers. And, you know, like, if you try to put that in perspective, my channel, when I got over the 100,000 mark, was in the top 0.3 or 4%, 0.3%, not even 1%, but less than that of all the YouTube channels out there. So that shows you that I'm up there pretty darn high. But then you compare that to somebody like Matt Carriker, and I'm not even a drop in the ocean. I mean, he's had millions of subscribers on 3 different channels, and he put out a video today, which I thought was clickbait, because he does stuff like that. He acts kind of silly, and he just, you know, says, I'm quitting YouTube and I'm selling the ranch. And that was his title. And by gosh, he is. That's, you know, he came on and he said, it's not clickbait, I'm really doing it. And he just went on with it, and he explained that he didn't think he was coming back. He loves YouTube, but his kids are growing up and he wants to be there for them. He's made millions. So I guess that's the reason, you know, and I guess I feel like him. I hate to see him go, kind of probably like some of you did when I quit working on instruments. I get it, but there's just a time to quit, you know, and I guess he's hit his time, and I'm sad to see him go, but I wish him well. He's a really cool guy, just a nice fella, you can just tell, and he was a veterinarian, and I don't know, just a good guy. All right, there's no good way to transition to this. Black vultures. Have you ever heard of black vultures? Do you know what they are? Yeah. Get your permit today. Free, quick, and easy. Yeah. I've heard a lot of hype about, I haven't heard anything real black and white and specific, but I've heard a lot of people muttering about black vultures and how they're so bad and they're this and they're that. And the only thing I was able to find online, and I didn't look very hard to be honest with you, but the only thing I've seen so far online was that the black vultures are much more aggressive than your standard vulture, and that they will kill, you know, newborn calves and things like that, or they'll actually attack them coming out of the mother while they're being born, you know, and that kind of thing. And that they're federally protected. Apparently, you're not allowed to shoot any vultures, apparently, but now there's some kind of a permit deal which I was thinking about looking into it, but I don't know. I've always liked vultures. I mean, they're disgusting. They're nasty animals. They'll throw up on you if you get close and all that. But they do perform a really valuable function, and that is they clean up the mess out there. And like you can find something dead around here, and like the next day, half the time it's gone. Between the coyotes and the bobcats and the vultures and the eagles too, it doesn't last long. I mean, just a couple of days and it's gone. So I don't know. I was just curious if anybody has any experience with black vultures and you know any more to the story. I'd be glad to hear what you have to say about it. Well, I told you yesterday afternoon I was going to go out and cut some lumber on the sawmill. Well, I started to do that. I ended up with, I got 2 2x6s cut out of a tiny little cedar tree. So that was about all you're going to get out of it. But about that time, Sue hits me up with a honeydew project. You see this thing here, this wooden trough that she made, she hand carved that. She did that several years ago. Well, she wants to make another one. And I think she wants to make it even more decorative. Actually, the piece of wood she's got for it is much more curly, and it's just a really pretty piece of wood. So basically, I had to cut it into a blank and slope the sides in and, angle the sides in. And anyway, so I gave her a blank on that. That's what I did yesterday afternoon, was get that blank ready for her. That was a lot more work than it might seem like it would be. It took a while, but I got her done. And let's see, then I have this little video for you today. This is about a 10-minute video of me doing more of the same in a sense, but pay attention to the words on the screen, because there's been a lot of comments about the way I should do it, maybe more efficiently or with less effort or whatever. And anyway, I wrote some notes on the screen that I think you might be interested in. So take a look at this. It might have bumped 30 by now. It was in the low 20s when I set out, but the sun is out and it's warming up. So all I have on is a flannel shirt and an undershirt. That's it. It's pretty chilly, but this will warm me up. These are not that big. These are smaller.
farmer, I scrape a living from the soul. Like my father before me, I labor and toil. But my father said, son, you should move away. He said, farm life is dying, son, please don't stay. I moved to the city and I tried to fit in. I thought of my father and how the crops would get in. I could hear him say, son, you should move away. He said, farm life is dying, son, please don't stay.
The logs that are here are longer and very knotty. Be difficult to split, but I'm going to give it a shot. This one will be nearly impossible to split, but I'll give it a shot. You never know. Sometimes you get lucky. Well, I got lucky. Definitely got lucky. It's not easy to split a forked piece of wood. It's really hard, as you can probably tell by the grain. Well, if it doesn't get down in the teens, this will be good for another 2 days. It's amazing that I can burn that much wood in just 2 days, even at normal winter temperatures. Well, there's this morning's haul. There's what the stove looks like right now. There's the pile of wood. That's a little over 4 foot tall, and I only split those in half. I split one of those logs in thirds. These are only about 15 inches long, which makes them a little easier splitting. Plus, it was dry, dead wood. You can see it's mostly rotted in the very, very center, as you can probably tell. Would never have made lumber. That's mostly red oak. The difference is, if you look at this dark bark, that's red oak, that dark rough bark. And then this smoother kind of grayish bark, at least it looks that way to me. Of course, it's got moss on it. But that's white oak. So there's the difference. Is in terms of the grain color, it's not that much different. You know, I can't hardly tell by grain. I really can't. Once the oak is sawn into lumber, I can't tell one from the other, honestly. And maybe you could if you could see colors. I don't know. But I can definitely tell the difference by the bark.
Yep. Bark, 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 bark. I can tell the difference by the bark for sure and see the tree standing. I know which ones are red oak and which ones are white oak. I just can't tell it after it's sawn into lumber. It looks about the same to me. It really doesn't look much different at all. And I assume that that's probably from the color blindness, because the grain looks basically identical. I can't really tell any difference really in the grain pattern. And that's how I identify most wood. I'm pretty good at knowing which, piece of wood I'm dealing with just by the grain. But on oak, it's pretty hard to tell. Lots of people ask why we don't make instruments out of oak. They ask it quite often, in fact. And stop and think about this. About the only, gun stocks as an example. You see tons and tons and tons of gun stocks, and most of them are made out of walnut or some exotic wood or something like that. I don't recall ever seeing one made out of oak. There's reasons for that. Oak is super heavy. It's really heavy. It's a dense, heavy wood. And then to throw in that one more additional thing is that it's has no acoustical properties whatsoever. So, no, again, in case anybody asks, I don't think you should ever build an instrument out of oak. I just don't think it's a good wood for that purpose at all. It's great firewood. It makes great furniture, makes great cabinets, things like that, hardwood flooring, all that kind of stuff. But it sure doesn't seem to make good instruments, in my opinion. Let's see. I noticed during that video that there was a lot of people talking about their health and different things, eye surgery, different things. We'll get to those comments in a minute, but it reminded me that, and I don't watch Wrangler Star hardly ever anymore. I mean, just occasionally I'll watch a video if I see something that looks interesting, if he pops something up. And that's what happened last night. I saw an interesting video title from Wrangler Star, and I thought it was probably going to be clickbait type thing, but it wasn't. It said, I don't remember the exact title, but it was, he was dreading going to Mexico for dental work. And I thought, really? Go to Mexico for dental work? Well, if you watch his video, I'm just going to throw it out there as a public service to you guys because it might be something that would help somebody. He goes through a big, long deal about it, and his results turned out great. It was going to cost him many tens of thousands of dollars to have all of his dental work done in the United States. And he didn't, he probably has that kind of money because he probably could have afforded it because he's got a pretty big channel. But he's terrified of dentists. That's why he hadn't been to a dentist, he said, in 25 years. Well, anyway, he got to checking it out, and he could get all the dental work done in Mexico for roughly $10,000 or $12,000, it turns out, versus like $60,000. So he, did some research on it, and it looked like it was going to work out for him. So he decided to go down there. And after he got down there, he was having second thoughts and thought he was going to quit and come back, But apparently there's a town, I should remember now. I want to say San Jose from the United States. It's I don't know. Yuma, maybe? I forgot what town he said now. There was a town in the United States that it was just across the border from. Well, anyway, he said there was hundreds of dentists in that town because lots of Americans go down there to get their dental work done. And he had nothing but praise about it, the whole thing. I mean, after he talked for quite a while about his second thoughts and that he just about didn't go, and afterwards now he's gung-ho on it. He thinks that's the place to go for your dental work. So my point is, I'm telling you this because I know some people are hard up for money like I've been a lot of times in my life, and if I had some very serious dental work that needed to be done, I might even consider it myself now, considering his experience. So it's worth watching if you're in that boat. You could probably find it. I didn't put a link to it, but you could probably find it real easy. Just Google Wrangler Star Dental Work. I'm sure you'd find it, or Mexico Dental Work, or something like that, if you're interested in that. So let's go to the comments and see what's going on here. Oh, by the way, I was going to tell you one more thing. On that video you just watched with me splitting that last log, the one that was a Y, the way I split those, and just in case somebody cares, I doubt anybody does, but in case you do, generally on a Y like that, there'll be one side that's bigger than the other, almost always. Not 100%, but generally there's one side that's bigger. So that one side that's bigger, I typically try to split it by itself first. Then I turn the whole log over and split through the Y, if you will. Not like if that's the Y, I don't split it this way. I literally split it this way, but I split it from this side. If that makes sense. So in other words, I take, like, if this is the bigger one, I split it first, and it'll come off the base of this. Then I turn it upside down, put the Y down, and then I split it this way through both pieces. And it works. You can split that way, but you try to, believe it or not, splitting it like this, that's almost impossible. I mean, you can get it done, but you'll kill yourself doing it that way. The other way, it's just usually a few hits and you can get it done. In case you care. I doubt you do, but in case you do. Let's see. Rod Wentler was the first one up there, and then David Tharp says, "Hello, everybody," and Jerry. Don't forget tonight the moon will be visible from the Earth. The last time that happened was last night. Let's see. David Tharp. I accidentally cut 3 fingers off my right hand. I asked the doctor if he would still be able to. If I would still be able to write with it. He said, maybe, but I shouldn't count on it. Oh, you're sick, David. You're just sick. That's all. I came from where do you get all these? I came from a family of failed magicians. I have 2 half-sisters. Sawing the people in half, I guess. Okay, let's see. Bill Rhodes, good afternoon from more wonderful Warrington, Missouri. I think that's what it's supposed to be. But anyway, let's see. David Tharp, when I was a kid, I could go to the store with a quarter and come home with 2 bags of chips, 4 candy bars, and a cold soda, but nowadays they have cameras everywhere. That's funny. Yeah, that reminds me of, I've told you this before, I think, too, but my grandpa, every time I would go over to him, the one that I wrote Grandpa's Old Fiddle about, he was my mom's dad, And every time we would go to his house, he would give us an old quarter. Now, we were stupid kids back in the 60s, and back in the 60s, they weren't as old as they are now. So I guess there's that also. But they were silver quarters that he would give us, and they were the old Standing Liberty silver quarters, which you can't really see it very well, but right there, I have just below the guitar there, I have a painting of that silver quarter that he gave me. That was just one of the important things in my life. And I spent every one of those at a local just a tiny little ma and pa store, just that was a block away from his house. We'd walk over there, take that silver quarter, and buy candy every time. Oh, I wish I had those back now. Let's see. If you knew then what you know now, Bill Rhodes, Jerry, I was just wondering, have you ever seen Roy Clark play Malawenga? I've seen him play some things. I can't remember that name for sure, but I probably have, because I've seen him play a lot of stuff over the years. It's been a long time. I can't recall that name, but I bet I have seen it. Dottie Hildebrandt, prayers for all the Rosa group. Thank you. Bill Rhodes, if you only really ever wanted to see something really extraordinary, watch Roy Clark play Malaguena. Okay. Let's see. Malaguena. I guess that's how you pronounce it. Guena. You are welcome, Paul. Any word on your friend? Okay, let's see. That's moving on down. James Copy. I often sing Celtic music, sing like bluegrass. Donald Matthews. Do you still follow Wrangler Star? You must be psychic. And I didn't see your comment before. He went to Mexico. There you go. Yep. You saw it too. Yeah, I saw that. I think I saw it last night. Is when I think I saw it. Anyway, I think that one's worth checking out. Even if you don't have any immediate need for dental work, it's worth checking out, I think, because, I don't know, his experience was exceptionally good. Let's see, moving on down. Ronald Todd 40 today and very windy. Still looking for question marks in case you're new and you don't know. We always put question marks in front of your comment, and that way I can find them fairly quick. And there's Bill Webb after we went live, says good afternoon, and then everybody is yelling at me about my microphone again, and that was, yeah, well, I screwed up yet again. I hardly ever screw up more than 10 or 20 times a day. Let's see. Gino Hitch says, hi, Jerry, and all warm weather is greatly appreciated. Yeah, we've got some warm weather today. It's, I think it's says it's up to 57 right now, and I'll be down there on the sawmill after this. The video you saw was what I did this morning, so I'll go down there this afternoon. I also watched a video from the two doctors that talk. I don't know. I forget their YouTube channel, but it's something like that. Two docs talking or something like that. Anyway, they were talking about how to prevent dementia. And where was I going with that? I just read something. Anyway, they gave you 14, I don't know, warning signs, I guess, and or things to look out for to prevent dementia. Well, I feel like I'm pretty good on all of them except for two things. One of them is the high blood pressure. I do have high blood pressure, not real bad, but not as bad as a lot of people, but it's still on the edge. And then for a 6-foot guy, I probably should only weigh about 185, and I presently weigh about 212. So I'd like to get that down on my weight. And there's quite a few other warning signs that if you're interested in that, you might want to check that out too. Bill Mumbo, Jeff had my cataracts done last year. Fantastic, like having my eyes polished. Well, I'm glad it worked out for you. Those kinds of surgeries generally go pretty well, but when they don't, that's not good, I can tell you. I've heard about some people not having such good luck with that. Let's see. Dottie Hellbrand says, boy, there is no end to Sue's talent. Yeah, she can do a lot of stuff, that's for sure. And I think the quote that I think is the best is, I've heard several people say it, but my buddy Ron said it first, and that is, he said, she is fearless. She'll do anything. And I go, yeah, that's pretty much her. Ronald Todd, Jerry, it appears you are cutting and splitting wood as you need it. God forbid you get hurt or sick. Do you have a backup plan? Well, I guess we've always had a couple backup plans. One of them is we can heat this house with gas. It's got 2 big Lennox pulse furnaces, and we can just turn them on. All I had to do is go to the thermostat and click on, and they're on. But we don't, because it just costs so much money. So that's plan number 1, backup plan number 1. Backup plan number 2 is, if I would be a long-term problem, well, we'll move up to the rental retreat. And it's easy to heat that. It's still a good size house, but it's not huge. This house is huge, and it's just really hard to heat because of the concrete floor. Dottie Hildebrand, man, I'm tired just watching you. Bill Rhodes, watching you work like, I think that's where I was headed with the dementia and Alzheimer's. They said, get plenty of exercise. Keep your mind occupied, get plenty of exercise. Well, I kind of think I got most of that other stuff covered. The only 2 things that I'm on the edge on, at least according to their list, was the high blood pressure and the being overweight. Let's see. Paul Lanier, yesterday Jerry explained axe swing technique just the same way that Papa told me back in 1972. Yeah, and I guess I learned it from my own dad too, to some degree, especially splitting it with a double-bladed axe. And for years, that's all I ever used. But it's just easier, or it's just more of a sure thing, no matter what kind of wood you're into. Because, if you got good splitting wood, the double-bladed axe is hard to beat. But when you don't have good splitting wood, it's hard to beat the splitting maul, which is what I'm using now. And that's not a real heavy splitting maul, by the way. That's only a 6-pounder. They make them like 10, 12 pounds. So, Bill Rhodes, yep, you sure do know where to hit them. Bill Webb, I can only tell the difference in white oak and red oak by the leaves. Okay. Let's see. It's moved on me there. Let's see. Dottie says, Wrangler Star went to Mexico for dental work. He did have some nice looking pearls. Yeah, I just thought, Yuma. There you go. I knew it was one of those little one short name towns. Clay Lewis, years ago I went to Juarez, Mexico, next to El Paso, and got my partials. They're still working. I got to be honest, just based on all the stereotype and all the crud you always hear, it would scare me to death to go down there to do that. But after his experience and after he talks it up so much, I'd probably do it now. Bill Rhodes, Jerry, I hope this isn't too personal, but do you have Medicare? Yeah, I don't keep up on all that stuff too close. Sue kind of keeps track of that, but yeah, we do. Let's see. David Tharp. I've been lucky with dental work. I've taught 3 different dentists how to fly and bartered flying for it. Oh, cool. Eric just went to the Oreo website and clicked on accept all cookies. We are now waiting. That's funny. I hadn't thought of it like that, but that's a good way to think of it. Wayne Blitz. Good afternoon, Jerry. It's a nice day in Northeast Ohio. Hope all went well with everybody. Yep. Let's see. Sidecar Bob. Hi, all. We had 70 to 80 kilometer winds last night, 50 mile per hour if you're into nostalgia. Gino says, I forgot the wife was wondering when Sue got home and if she had a good time. Yeah, well, I covered that yesterday in yesterday's vlog and showed some photos and things. And yeah, she's back and tearing it up. Literally. Sidecar Bob. Part 2. I don't think much new snow fell, but I'll have to go out and find the driveway with the snowblower after the show. Yep. Well, we don't have any snow here right now. We still have a little lingering ice. In fact, there's still quite a bit in a few places. But any place that's shaded still has ice on it. Wavy Gravy. I once had a dentist who won blue ribbons for his 1,000-pound pumpkins. I was afraid he'd accidentally shoot me full of that voodoo juice he shot into those pumpkins, and my head would explode. Well, anyway, guys, it's been good talking to you today. I think I'm going to go down there and mess with the sawmill if somebody doesn't throw too many honeydews at me. We will see you tomorrow with something else. Thank you for being here. We'll see you then.